Well, the recent heavy rains and now floodwaters have kept us from even being able to get out to the studio gardens. So we're on campus here at OSU in Stillwater at our teaching greenhouses, and there's also some construction going on around the greenhouses here, so you'll need to bear with us. But that still gives us a great opportunity to come inside and talk about cut flowers. And you know, many gardeners actually enjoy taking cut flowers from outside, bringing them indoors so they can enjoy the vibrant colors and the fragrances inside as well. And you know, this time of year, right up until the first frost come October, November, there's all kinds of plant material that we can use as cut flowers, starting out with tulips and daffodils, going into irises and roses and Gerber daisies, and there's just so many things that you can enjoy inside as well. And of course, to cut those flowers, there's a few tips I'd like to share with you to make your success a little bit better. And first of all, I'd encourage you to try to cut those flowers as early in the morning as possible, because there's more moisture in the plants. The temperatures are usually a little bit cooler, so they're not stressed, and that means their moisture level will be better and they'll take the transition indoors a lot better. Also, if you're not able to stick the cut flowers directly in fresh water, wrap them with a moist newspaper or paper towel to keep them moist from drying out, and then lay them under shade or something so they don't get a lot of scorch from the sun. And then if it's going to be a while before you can put them in their permanent vase, I'd encourage you to recut them again at a 45-degree angle at the bottom of the stem, because sometimes it plugs up and you want to cut it again so it can take up the moisture. Also, once you've arranged them and you take them inside, you need to place them in a cool, indirect light level or in the environment. In other words, don't put them in a bright, sunny window. Don't put them on the television when there's heat. Just try to keep them in a cool, indirect light environment. And the water that you place them in as well needs to be really more tepid, a little on the cool side, not cold or not hot. And that will also help push the water up through the plants. Also, make sure you have enough water in the vase, and then change the water in your mix as frequently as you need to, kind of depending on how the flowers fade out. Now, with most flowers, we encourage you to use a preservative, and there's a lot of commercial ones on the market that come in little packets like this that you can actually mix in with the water. And Floralife and Oasis and Rogard are some of the most common ones that you'll find at a florist shop or any place where they carry cut flowers. So again, they'll give you directions on how to mix those appropriately with your mix. Now, a preservative, what it does, it actually lowers the pH to make it more acidic. Also, it will help prevent any bacteria or fungal growth, which can plug up the bottom stem of the flowers and keep the moisture and actually harm the stem. Plus, it might have a little bit of nutrition to help feed the plants, and all of this is just to extend the cut vase life of the flowers. Now, I'm sure all of you too have probably heard of all the home concoctions or home remedies and mixing up various things like vinegar and 7-Up and sugar and aspirin, lemon juice, and bleach even. Those things, we've heard all kinds of home concoctions that you mix in to help preserve the vase life. We have some friends at the University of Arkansas, a graduate student, Miss Lane Greer, and her advisor, and Professor Dr. Al Einert, has actually decided to do a little bit of research using some of these products that you can get at home, and to give us a little bit of guidance on how much to mix up and do they work or do they not. Now, their objective in the research project was to actually extend the vase life, and this first research project that they did was actually using roses that came from the florist shop. Now, here's some roses that we got at a florist shop, and I want you to notice that they're pretty much bruised up, and that's because they've taken the thorns off. And these roses have actually been put in a preservative to start with, so they've already been treated a little bit. But anytime you purchase flowers like this, I'd encourage you again to make a fresh cut, and remember that's at a 45-degree angle. That way it can take moisture up. Now, some people will tell you to do that underwater so you don't get any air bubbles, but really if you just make a 45-degree cut and put it in water right away, it's going to be best off. So they used roses in this particular demonstration or research plot. So really what they did, they used 700 mils of water, and we can convert that over to about 3 cups. So the first thing we're going to do is just put in 3 cups of water, and of course you would want to do this ahead of time before you put the roses in it. So 3 cups of water, and this is just tap water. And then they had different recipes of these concoctions, and I'm going to mix the one up that actually they had the most success with. And that one is using a tablespoon of sugar, and this is just granulated sugar. And we'll just drop that in there, and that's again to about 3 cups of water. Then a teaspoon of vinegar, and this is white distilled vinegar. So I have a tablespoon measuring, so I'm going to put in about a little shy of half of the vinegar in there. And then the other component of this particular recipe was an aspirin, and this is a 325 milligram aspirin. So we'll just drop that in there, and we want to make sure that all of that is dissolved and shaken up, and then it would be ready to put your flowers in. Now with this particular recipe, they were actually able to extend the vase life of the roses 9 days. And the next application that got pretty close was using a teaspoon of vinegar, a tablespoon of sugar, and a half tablespoon of bleach, and that one got 8.3 days. And so what those products are doing, they're assimilating the same thing. They're helping control the bacteria and the fungi, adding a little bit of carbohydrates with the sugar, and then also getting the pH to drop down, which is very important. Now, when they compared those treatments to plain water only gave them about 2.3 days of vase life, even when they changed it on a daily basis or a regular basis. So actually adding the preservatives did help out, according to their study. Also, they found that the pH needed to be almost 5.0 or lower, which is very acidic, so the acidity is still very important. So again, the research is just preliminary. Of course, again, they used florist-type roses that came in that had already been treated. So they're talking about doing some more research using cut flowers straight from the garden, various other mixes, various types of flowers. So it's real encouraging to see some of the research that's going on, and we want to thank them for sharing that with us too. And I think what it implies, even though it's a little bit of preliminary studies and still has to have some more statistical type analysis done, it tells us that preservatives, whether the commercial one or some of the home concoctions, will help extend the cut vase life. So if you're fortunate enough to get some roses or have some flowers growing in the garden and you want to bring them indoors, I'd sure encourage you to put in some preservatives versus just plain water.